In today's video, I'm going to be rebuilding the Atlanta Hawks. The Atlanta Hawks are stuck in NBA purgatory at the moment. They're not good enough to compete for a championship, but they're not bad enough to rebuild from scratch. So today I'm going to be taking over to change that. And of course, I'm going to be pulling off trades, signing new free agents, drafting the right players, hopefully, to make ourselves championship contenders. At the moment, we do have Trae Young, we have Jalen Johnson, Dyson Daniels, Okongwu, and Zachary Risachet in our starting five. And I do like our starting five a ton. Having Trae Young at the point guard position and Dyson Daniels at the shooting guard position helps out a ton. Where Trae Young lacks on the defensive side, Dyson Daniels picks up on the defensive side. We have Zachary Risachet, the former #1 overall pick. Well, not the former, he was the #1 overall pick in this past draft. We also have Jalen Johnson, who's progressing to become an amazing player in the league. Okongwu, I'm not sure if we're going to be keeping him around for the future. He's kind of an undersized big man in my opinion, so we may trade him this offseason if we get the chance. And at the moment of this recording, the Atlanta Hawks are the #7 seed with 35 wins and 37 losses. So we are a playing team at the moment, but hopefully we can change that in the next few seasons and make ourselves playoff contenders. And also, if you guys are enjoying this video so far, please make sure to hit the thumbs up button and subscribe if you're new for more NBA 2K rebuilds. Now we're going to be simulating until the end of this season. We'll see how we do. If we end up making the playoffs, hopefully we can make somewhat of a run in the playoffs. I forgot to show what our rotation will be looking like, and we're going to be running a 9-man rotation for the last few games left of this season. Our starting lineup is going to be Trae Young, Dyson Daniels, Zachary Risachet, Jalen Johnson, and Okongwu. And then off the bench, we're going to have Caris LeVert, Clint Capella as our backup center, George Niang, and Terrence Mann. We're going to be running a 9-man rotation. I'm not sure how good we'll be. I guess we'll see at the end of this season. At the end of season #1, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander wins MVP, Alex Sarr wins Rookie of the Year, Scoot Henderson winning 6th Player of the Year, Giannis wins Defensive Player. I was hoping that the defensive player would go to Dyson Daniels, but clearly it didn't. Christian Brown wins Most Improved, Jalen Green Clutch Player, Mark wins Coach of the Year, and the OKC get Executive. And we do end up getting Trae Young on All-NBA First Team. I was not expecting that, but let's go. He ends up on All-NBA First Team. I don't think we'll be getting any other players. We do not, but we do get Dyson Daniels on All-Defensive First Team. Let's go. So 2 of our players end up with awards. And we ended up being the 7 seed. We were really close to being the 6 seed. We were tied with the #6 seed, as you guys can see there on the left side of the screen. Our games, we had 42 wins and 40 losses, the same with the Detroit Pistons, who were above us. Let's see if we're going to be making the playoffs. I'm going to switch up our player minutes a little bit, and then hopefully we can defeat the Chicago Bulls. Before we simulate this game against the Chicago Bulls, let me show you guys our player stats for the regular season. So Trae Young was our leading scorer, averaging 25 points per game, 3 rebounds, and 11 assists. He led the way in assists per game, which is amazing. 18.5 points per game from Jalen Johnson, 10 boards, 5 assists, 1.5 steal, and 1 block. 14 points per game from Dyson Daniels, as well as 3 steals and nearly 1 block per game. 13 from Okongwu, the rookie Zachary Risachet with 13 points per game, 4 boards. Amazing rookie season from him. He's only going to continue progressing, which is going to make us a lot better. 11 from Caris LeVert, and then the rest of the team. But now let's see if we can defeat the Chicago Bulls to make it to the playoffs. We do have home court advantage, and so far we do have the lead. And we end up beating the Chicago Bulls by 5 points. Dyson Daniels had 22 points, 8 assists, and 3 steals. Risachet with 22, Trae Young with 21, Johnson with 5 blocks. Holy, he could have had a quadruple double if he had 5 more blocks and 3 more assists. But we do end up making the playoffs, and in round #1, we're going to be taking on one of the hardest teams to face, the Boston Celtics, the defending champions. Let's see what happens here. Game number 1 is a loss for us. Brown and Tatum end up defeating us there. Johnson was amazing, but Trae Young struggled. He did foul out in 28 minutes. Game number 2 is a win for us. Let's go. Trae Young puts up 28 points, 12 assists. Zachary Risachet with 20 points. Game 3 is a loss for us. Game number 4, we do end up tying up the series. I'm not expecting us to make it very far in the playoffs. Obviously, we still need to make our team and our roster a little bit better. But Trae Young played absolutely amazing in that game, and so did Dyson Daniels with 5 steals. Amazing. Game number 5 is a loss for us. Trae Young had a double-double, but we still fell short. And we're going to a game 7, which is pretty impressive. Our team's pushing the defending champions to a game 7. Risachet, in his rookie season, has been playing amazing in the playoffs. He puts up 33 points. Trae Young with a double-double, and the same for Clint Capella. Let's see what happens here in game 7, and we end up beating the Boston Celtics, which means we advance to the second round. We just beat the defending NBA champions to go up against the New York Knicks. And of course, this is also going to be a tough challenge. The New York Knicks are stacked. They probably have one of the best starting fives in the entire NBA. Game number 1 is a loss for us. So is game 2 and 3. And are we going to be swept? Yes, we are. We end up being swept by the New York Knicks, which is kind of expected. I didn't expect us to go very far. But let's see who goes on to win the NBA championship. The New York Knicks versus the Timberwolves. Karl Anthony Towns versus Julius Randle, and Julius Randle up against his old team. Let's see who ends up winning, and it's the Timberwolves. So the Timberwolves in this simulation end up winning the trade of Julius Randle. He ends up winning Finals MVP, averaging 30 a night. Julius Randle in 2K simulation is something else. But that was it for those playoffs. I'm going to overturn LeBron James and maybe a few more retirements. And then I'll see you guys at the NBA draft or at free agency. We're here at the draft lottery, and we're expected to get 13th overall pick via the Sacramento Kings. I'm not sure if it's protected or not. I really hope it's not a lottery protected pick. But let's see if we end up getting that pick, and we do. So we stay with a 13th overall pick. I'm happy with that. We also get the 20th overall pick, and I believe that is it. But that's honestly pretty good. We end up with 2 first-round picks in the 2025 NBA draft. We also got ourselves a second-rounder. I was checking out our team's points per game and points allowed per game this past season, and our offense is one of the best offenses in the entire NBA, but on the other hand, we have one of the worst defenses also. So clearly, it's pretty obvious what we need to upgrade this offseason. That's going to be our defense. I decided to throw a Kongwu and our 2 first-round picks in Trade Finder to see what we can get in return, and the Brooklyn Nets are offering us a 6th overall pick and Nick Claxton. I'm pretty sure we're going to be pulling off this trade. There's a few reasons why. Of course, one of the reasons is we end up with a 6th overall pick. The other reason is Nick Claxton is a way better defender than Okongwu is. He's one of the best rim protectors in the league, and I believe that he could help our defense get a lot better. So let's go ahead and pull this trade off with the Brooklyn Nets, where we send them Okongwu, 2 first-round picks, a second-rounder for the 6th overall pick, and Nick Claxton. Let's go ahead and pull off this trade. I'm not sure who we're going to be selecting with that 6th overall pick, or whether we're even going to be using it or not. But let's see what Nick Claxton, the 6th overall pick, would get us back in return. So as you guys can see, there's some pretty awesome trade offers here. Kevin Durant would be insane. He is 36 years old, which is probably the only reason we're not going to be trading for him. So for now, we are going to keep that 6th overall pick, and let's go see what type of players we can get with that pick that we have. So who has the 1st overall pick? It's the Philadelphia 76ers, and they do take Cooper Flag. The Wizards will probably take Ace Bailey, and that's exactly what they do. Dylan Harper or not. So the Hornets trade the 3rd overall pick for Ace Bailey. Whoa. They ended up getting Dylan Harper. The Pelicans take Caspers. The Utah Jazz take VJ Edgecombe, and now it's our turn. We can get ourselves Trey Johnson, Igor Demin, Liam McNeely. There is a few good players left on this draft board. Trey Johnson ends up progressing into a really good player, so we could possibly take Trey Johnson, but we don't really need another shooting guard. We already have Dyson Daniels. We could use Igor Demin to be our future backup point guard behind Trae Young, but let me decide which player we're going to be selecting, and I'll show you guys once I come up with that decision. And with the 6th overall pick, we're going to be taking Igor Demin. He's a 6'9" point guard. I know that he ends up progressing into a really good player. I've seen it in the past. So we're going to be selecting Igor Demin to be our backup point guard going forward. I'm happy with this pick. Hopefully he ends up becoming a win now type of player and can help us win this season. I believe we do have a 2nd round pick, and we do. We're getting some trade offers, but let's see who's left on the board. So Rocky's here, this guy, there's a few big men left here. We do need a backup center. We don't have one at the moment, but I'm not sure how much these players end up progressing. They are really low overall players, so I don't think they're going to end up becoming anything crazy. But for anyways, let's just go ahead and select this Rocky dude. He's 7'3", 19 years old. I'm not sure if he's going to be a good player, but hopefully he is. Let's see the overall. So Igor Demin in his rookie season will be a 75 overall, and Rocky's going to be a 69. Of course, we're going to be picking up the team option on Dyson Daniels. We'll also pick it up on Kobe Buffkin. We can possibly trade Kobe Buffkin this offseason if we'd like, if there's some good trades out there for him. Qualifying offers, we don't need Dominic Barlow, so we won't be giving him the qualifying offers. And is there any players we need to bring back? So we do need to re-sign Karis LeVert, Garrison Matthews. There's a few players we need to re-sign, as well as Clint Capella if we want to keep him as our backup center going forward. As of right now, I am going to be re-signing Karis LeVert and Clint Capella. We could possibly move them in the future, but as of right now, we're going to be giving both of these players a 2-year contract. Karis LeVert should accept this contract. He does have an offer from the Detroit Pistons, but he's more interested in our contract. And Clint Capella doesn't have any offers, so let's go ahead and offer him a 2-year contract as well. Both of them should be accepting, which they will be, and we get both of them. And now what I'm planning on doing is freeing up some salary cap to go sign ourselves a decent player. We have players on our team like George Niang that I'm going to be trading away for picks. That way we get some salary opened on our team. And the same for Terrence Mann. He's on a $15 million salary, so we're probably going to be trading him away for a pick. And there we go, we can get a 1st round pick from the Charlotte Hornets. We're also going to be trading away George Niang, get some salary cap opened, and acquire ourselves a player in free agency. And that should be enough. I'm pretty sure we should be able to get ourselves a decent player. And we can get a player on a mid-level exception. I would like someone like Precious Achiuwa to be our backup power forward. I'm going to look around the league and see what type of players we can acquire. We are going to be signing Jonathan Isaac on a 2-year contract. I showed you guys earlier that we weren't a good defensive team at all this previous season, so getting ourselves some good defensive players should help, and Jonathan Isaac is one of the best defenders in the league. So we're going to go ahead and offer him a contract, which he should accept, and he does. I'm going to be pulling off this trade here with the OKC Thunder, where we send them Kobe Buffkin, who won't be a part of our rotation in the future since we already got ourselves a backup point guard in Igor Demin. We're going to be sending Kobe Buffkin a 2nd round pick for the 2026 Utah Jazz's unprotected 1st rounder. It has a 2.5 star trade value, so hopefully that ends up being a top 10 pick. And we're also going to be pulling off this trade here where we send the Brooklyn Nets Rocky in a 2nd round pick for a future 1st round pick and a 2nd round pick. I'm trying to stack up on some draft capital here, that way we could possibly use all these 1st round picks in a trade going forward. And we didn't need Rocky as our backup center anyways. He's a 69 overall, and we already have Clint Capella. Here we are at the start of season number 2 with our new rotation. Our starting lineup is going to include Trae Young, Dyson Daniels, Zachary Risachet, Jalen Johnson, and Nick Claxton. And then off the bench, we're going to have Caris LeVert, Clint Capella, Jonathan Isaac, and Igor Demin as our backup point guard. Let's see how things go here in game number 1 against the Brooklyn Nets. And we do end up beating the Brooklyn Nets by 3 points. Daniels had 28, 25 and 10 from Zachary Risachet, who's now up to a 84 overall. Caris LeVert had 25, double-double from Johnson, and 10 points from Trae Young. We did end up trading Okongwu to the Brooklyn Nets. They also got themselves Julius Randle. I think this season will be a lot better than the previous season. I don't know if we're championship contenders just yet, but you can't count us out. We have a pretty good 9-man rotation. Now I'll be simulating until the end of the season, but if there's trades to be made, I'll be stopping at the trade deadline. We're stopped here at the trade deadline, and we're going to be targeting Quentin Grimes from the Philadelphia 76ers. He's ended up becoming a really good 3-point shooter, good defender. He's an amazing offensive player that could be our future 6-man. Caris LeVert has been decent, but his 3-point shooting is pretty bad this season. He's shooting 32% from the 3-point line, whereas Quentin Grimes is shooting 41% from the 3-point line. Let's see what they say for this trade. And they give us a counter offer. They want the Chicago Bulls top 3 protected 1st-round pick, and as you guys can see, that pick is valued at 2.5 stars. And I also want to show you guys the pick that we acquired from the Utah Jazz. It's valued at 4 stars, so this pick is probably going to be a top 3 pick. If not a top 3 pick, definitely a top 5 pick. We could possibly use this 1st-round pick from the Utah Jazz in a really big trade going forward this season, or we can keep it and see who we can draft with that pick. But I think we may be using that pick in a trade literally this trade deadline, so right after this trade. But first, let's try acquiring Quentin Grimes from the Philadelphia 76ers. 1 1st-round pick. They declined. They want 2 1st-rounders for Adam Bonner. We don't need Bonner on our team, so let's try 2 1st-rounders. And they give us a counter offer again. They really want to get rid of Adam Bonner off their team. But let's see if we include a few 2nd-round picks if it can get done. I don't really want to give up 3 1st-round picks, so let's try this. And they're still declining, so it looks like we may just need to give up a future 1st-rounder. Let's go ahead and see. And they're still not budging at all with this trade for some reason. What about now? And there we go, it gets done. We did have to give up 3 1st-round picks, which is a lot, but it is what it is. And at the moment, we are the 2nd seed with 31 wins and 19 losses. But I think we're going to pull off a pretty big trade here, use that 1st-round pick from the Utah Jazz, valued at 4 stars, and go acquire ourselves a future or current star. I want to show you guys the insane trade offers that we have here if we include Jalen Johnson and 2 of our valuable 1st-round picks. There's some insane trade offers. There's Jared McCain, Tyrese Maxey, Kristaps Porzingis, Zubac, Bam Adebayo, LaMelo Ball, and Mark Williams. Walker Kessler, Markkanen, Sabonis is even here. So a lot of teams want these valuable 1st-round picks. Anthony Davis, 93 overall. I'm not sure which trade we're going to be pulling off just yet. As you guys can see, we can also get ourselves Devin Booker. The only reason I'm not trading for Devin Booker is our defense will probably get pretty bad. Having Devin Booker and Trae Young in our backcourt wouldn't be the best defensive move. So I'm going to look around the league and see what teams are selling and then go talk to them for some new players. So I am still going to be targeting an all-star to bring on our team, but I also want to upgrade our center position from Nick Claxton. That way we can move Nick Claxton to be our backup center. And I'm going to be targeting Derek Lively II from the Dallas Mavericks, as well as Caleb Martin to make the salaries match. Let's see what the Mavericks say for Clint Capella and Steven Adams. They do decline, but this is where we can use a bunch of our 1st-round picks. The Utah Jazz's 1st-round pick and the Chicago Bulls, I am going to be trading for the trade we're going to be pulling off after Derek Lively. But we can use our future 1st-rounders, and let's see what they say. So they want the Chicago Bulls 1st-round pick. We're not going to be including that. Again, we're going to be using that for a different trade. But let's see what they say. So they want Jonathan Isaac for PJ Washington, I don't want to give up Jonathan Isaac, and the reason for that is he's been a really good defensive player off of our bench. So if we can not include him in this trade, I would be open to giving up one more first round pick, and they still declined. So it looks like we're going to have to trade away Jonathan Isaac. But this isn't too bad of a trade. We still do get ourselves PJ Washington, who could be our backup power forward. He's a decent defender, good 3-point shooter. So let's go ahead and pull this trade off and get ourselves Derek Lively as our brand new starting center. And this is the trade that I was talking about. We're going to be targeting Evan Mobley from the Cleveland Cavaliers. Jalen Johnson has been pretty good for us, but he's not a good 3-point shooter, and he doesn't end up developing a 3-point shot in 2K simulation as well. So getting ourselves someone like Evan Mobley, who's one of the best defenders, amazing rebounder, decent playmaker, and an amazing offensive player will definitely help us get one step closer to winning a championship. So let's see what the Cleveland Cavaliers say for this trade, where we send them Jalen Johnson, and they do decline, but this is where our valuable first round picks are going to come in handy. So the Utah Jazz unprotected first round pick valued at 4 stars, they still declined this trade, but we do have the Chicago Bulls top 3 protected first round pick. They give us a counter offer. They want Patrick Beverley for Luke Travers, and we're going to be getting ourselves Evan Mobley as our brand new starting power forward. Now I'll show you guys what our rotation is going to be looking like. Now this is what our rotation will be looking like after we just pulled off those insane trades. Our starting lineup is going to be Trae Young, Dyson Daniels, Zachary Risachet, Evan Mobley, and Derek Lively II. And our bench unit is going to include Quentin Grimes, Nick Claxton, PJ Washington, and Igor Demin. We're definitely championship contenders now after these trades we just pulled off. Evan Mobley, Trae Young, and Dyson Daniels form a new big 3. And Derek Lively II is an amazing defender, rebounder, so I think we have a really good chance of winning ourselves a championship. And our bench unit just got 10 times better than it already was with Quentin Grimes, Claxton, and Washington. Let's simulate game 1 with our new rotation against the Sacramento Kings and see how it goes. We do end up losing the first game against Sacramento Kings, but of course the chemistry still needs to be built. But we do beat the Washington Wizards with Mobley putting up 27, 14, and 6. Trae Young with a double-double, Lively with a double-double, Daniels with 13, Risachet with 12. Now it's time to simulate until the end of this season, where hopefully we're a top team in the playoffs. We're going to be giving Trae Young a contract extension for 2 years worth $43.5 million annually, and he accepts. At the end of this season, Nikola Jokic wins another MVP, Cooper Flagg wins Rookie of the Year with the Philadelphia 76ers, Josh Giddey 6th Player of the Year, Wemby wins Defensive Player, Hami Huck as Most Improved, Shea wins Clutch Player, Tom Thibodeau Coach of the Year, and the Mavs win Executive of the Year. Let's see if we get any All-NBA selections. Hopefully we do. We do end up getting Trae Young on All-NBA second team, and we also get Evan Mobley on All-NBA second team. Let's go. And then we also get Evan Mobley on all defensive team, so he makes an All-NBA and an All-Defensive team. That's amazing. We ended up being the second seed right behind the New York Knicks with 56 wins and 26 losses. Let me show you guys our player stats before we jump into the playoffs. Our team played absolutely amazing, and our leading scorer was Trae Young, averaging 26 points per game, 10.5 rebounds, shooting amazing efficiency, 40% from the 3-point line. And then we have Evan Mobley averaging 19 points per game, 11 rebounds, 5 assists, 1.5 steal, and 2.5 blocks. He definitely could have won Defensive Player of the Year, as you guys can see. His blocks and steals were amazing. He was averaging basically 4 stocks per game. 16 a night from Dyson Daniels, and how did he not make all defensive team? That does not make sense. So yeah, Dyson Daniels didn't make all defensive team despite averaging 2.5 steals per game and half a block. 15 a night from Zachary Risachet. His efficiency has gone down from the previous season, and I really hope that changes. We need him to be shooting the ball more effectively. Dyson Daniels Field goal percentage has been amazing. His 3-point shooting got a lot better than the previous season. Quentin Grimes was good for us off the bench in the 6-man role. 11 a night from Derek Lively, amazing get for our team defensively and offensively. 9 from Claxton, 9 from PJ Washington, and then the rest of the team. And in round 1, we're going to be taking on the Detroit Pistons, who have Cade Cunningham, Jaden Ivey, Thompson, Tobias Harris. So they have the same exact starting lineup that they have in real life, and basically the same bench, except they added Isaiah Joe. So let me fix up our player minutes, and then let's see how we do in the playoffs. This here's what our player minutes will be looking like as of right now for the first round. Let's see how this goes. Game number 1 is a win for us. Trae Young dropped 40 points and 16 assists. Dyson Daniels with 17. Grimes with 17, 15 from Claxton. A lot of our team players were in double-digit scoring. Mobley struggled offensively, but he still had 11 points and 11 rebounds. Game number 2 is also a win for us. This time Dyson Daniels led the way in scoring. Trae Young with a double-double, and the same for Mobley. Game 3, we also win, and we do not sweep the Detroit Pistons. We don't gentleman sweep them, and it's going to a game 7, so they're coming back from a 3-0 lead that we just had. How is Mobley playing? He's been playing really good. Trae Young's playing good. Zachary Rissache's efficiency, man, from the field is pretty bad for a 6'8 small forward. 3-point shooting has been a lot better. Dyson Daniels is playing good. So our team is playing fairly well, but I think we do need to come up with a defensive coach game plan before we advance to game 7. And Igor Demon is definitely going to be out of our rotation. He's playing horrible right now. I made a pretty big mistake for the first few games. We had Trae Young guarding Cade Cunningham, their best offensive player, and Cade Cunningham is 6'6", 220 pounds, whereas Trae Young is 6'1", 165 pounds. So obviously he's way smaller than Cade Cunningham, but now I changed it up where Dyson Daniels will be guarding Cade Cunningham for game 7, where we will have home court advantage. Let's see if we can go out there and get this win, and so far we do have the lead, and it looks like we are running away with it. And we're going to be advancing to the next round. Evan Mobley had a master game here with 42 points, 11 boards, and 6 assists. Trae Young had 29 points, 13 assists. Dyson Daniels, 28 points, 7 boards, 9 assists, and 4 steals. Now we're going on to the second round, where we're going to be facing the Indiana Pacers. They have the same exact starting 5 and the same exact bench, except they did add Jock Landale. I'm not going to make the same mistake we made against Detroit Pistons. I am going to come up with a defensive coach game plan where Dyson Daniels will be guarding Tyrese Halliburton to start off this series. I forgot to mention we are running an 8-man rotation. We decided to take out Igor Demon from our 9-man rotation because of how bad he was playing offensively. So we're running this 8-man rotation. Let's see what happens here up against the Indiana Pacers. Game number 1 is a win for us. Mobley drops 26, 25 from Daniels, 24-point double-double from Trae Young. Zachary Rissache has been struggling offensively from the field at least, but his 3-point shooting is amazing and he played phenomenal in this game. Quentin Grimes is playing amazing as well. Game number 2 is a loss for us. Trae Young played good, but Halliburton played better. He did have 6 turnovers because of Quentin Grimes, but he still ended up with 48 points. Game 3 is also a loss for us. Turner with 28, 27 from Hallie. 6 turnovers once again, but he still ended up going off. And it looks like we may have to make some moves to our rotation. I'm not sure what we're going to do. We're definitely going to bench Zachary Rissache for Quentin Grimes. I think that'll help us a lot. Zachary Rissache has been struggling offensively, and now he's not even shooting good from the 3-point line. So he will definitely be going to the bench unit for Quentin Grimes. I changed up a lot of our players' shot tendencies depending on how they're playing these first 2 rounds. We also benched Zachary Rissache for Quentin Grimes. Rissache has been playing pretty bad so far in these playoffs, and Quentin Grimes is playing a lot better offensively and defensively, so he's going to be our starting small forward going forward. Derek Lively, 24 minutes. Nick Claxton will also get 24 minutes. And I also did put Igor Demon back in our rotation for his playmaking. He's a good playmaker, and we need a backup point guard that could play make when Trae Young is resting. So let's see if we can win this next game to tie up the series, and that's exactly what we do. Trae Young had 40 points, 10 assists, Mobley with 28, Daniels with 19 and 9 assists. Lively also played amazing. Hopefully we can go up 3-2, and that's exactly what we do. Mobley drops 28 points, 11 boards, and 6 assists. Dyson Daniels nearly had a triple-double. Trae Young did struggle offensively, but he still had a double-double. Let's see if we can win here in Game 6, and we do. We're going to be advancing to the conference finals. Trae Young had 18, Quentin Grimes with 19, Mobley with 17, Zachary Risacher still struggling off the bench. But we're in the conference finals. We're going to be taking on the New York Knicks. And this team is good. Their starting five is insane. They have Jalen Brunson, Bridges, who's averaging 24 points per game, OG Anunoby, Josh Hart, and Karl Anthony Towns. And off the bench, they have Robinson, Miles McBride, Precious Achiuwa, and Keon Johnson. Basically the same team they have in real life. But even so, this team is deadly. They were the number 1 seed. Let's see how things go. Game number 1 is a win for us. Let's go. Trae Young drops 43 points, 11 assists. Quentin Grimes with 28. Game number 2 is also a win for us. Mobley drops 33 points, 10 rebounds, and 3 blocks. Trae Young drops 29 points and 10 assists. Zachary Risacher 13 points. Hopefully he can continue playing like this in the 6-man role. Game number 3 is a win for us, which puts us up 3-0, and Trae Young is going off, dropping 47 points and 14 assists. 9 made 3-pointers, insane. Mobley drops 20-11, Lively with 19 and 11. And are we going to sweep the Knicks? We do not sweep them. Gentlemen sweep, we do. Let's go. Trae Young 31 points, 12 assists, Quentin Grimes with 18. Kind of been struggling from the field, but he's shooting the 3-point ball, the 3-ball amazing, 40% from the 3-point line. Lively was good for us, and now we're either going to be taking on the Spurs or the OKC Thunder. And it's going to be Wemby and the Spurs. Wemby wins Western Conference Finals MVP. Trae Young, averaging a 36-point double-double, wins Eastern Conference Finals MVP. Now we're taking on the San Antonio Spurs, who have De'Aaron Fox, Stephon Castle, Devin Vassell, Sohan, and Wemby. And off the bench, they have Brook Lopez, Johnson, Kisper, and Tyus Jones. Let's see what happens here. Game number 1 is a win for us. Let's go. Trae Young drops 30 points, 12 assists, 28 from Mobley, who's been playing fantastic. Dyson Daniels with a 14-point double-double. And Quentin Grimes, let's go. He's starting to play good again. Game number 2 is also a win for us. Trae Young drops 33 points, 11 assists. Lively drops 32 points. I'm pretty sure that's a career high in points for Derek Lively II. Dyson Daniels had 20 points. Game number 3, we're up 3-0. I was not expecting this series to be this easy, but Trae Young had 26 points, 10 assists. Dyson Daniels amazing, Mobley was amazing. Our whole team has been playing really good. And are we going to be sweeping the San Antonio Spurs? And just like that, the Atlanta Hawks are your 2026 NBA champions, with Trae Young winning Finals MVP, averaging 34 points per game, 2 rebounds, 11.5 assists, 1.5 steals, shooting 50, 40, 90. Let me show you guys the player stats for the playoffs. Here are your player stats for the playoffs. So our leading scorer was Trae Young, averaging a 33-point double-double. 12 assists is insane, and only 2 turnovers per game. Then we had Evan Mobley averaging a 22-point double-double, 10 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 blocks, 1.5 steal. On amazing efficiency, 52% from the field, 16.5 points per game from Daniels, 14 from Quentin Grimes, 12.5 from Lively, 11 from Risacher, and then the rest of the guys. Let's see the NBA Finals stats. So Trae Young led the way in the finals, 34-point double-double. Then we had Evan Mobley averaging a 21-point double-double. Derek Lively was averaging 18 points per game here in the NBA Finals. Amazing. 15.5 from Dyson Daniels, 14 from Quentin Grimes, 8 from Claxton, and then the rest of the team. We're going to run it back one more season with the same exact core and see how things go. Maybe we make some changes to our rotation, I'm not sure, but as of right now, we'll keep things the way they are. I'm going to overturn a few of these retirements, and then I'll see you guys either at the NBA draft or free agency. We won't be having a lottery pick, of course, but the picks that we trade away to the Cleveland Cavaliers, as you guys can see, they're projected to go number 3 and number 6. But in my opinion, trading away those picks were worth it for us. It won us a championship, which we probably would not be able to do if we didn't trade those picks. Those picks go 6 and 7 to the Cleveland Cavaliers. Team player option, we are going to be accepting the team option on Zachary Risachet. Wait, did I accept that? Yes, I did. For some reason, the CPU wanted me to decline that team player option. I'm not sure why. Qualifying offers, we do need to bring back Dyson Daniels. We don't really need Luke Travers. We don't need him on our team, but Dyson Daniels we will be giving that extension to. And we only have around $6 million to spend. Of course, we're going to be bringing back Dyson Daniels, and I think that's the only player we really need to bring back in free agency. The rest of the team is on contracts, and Keyshawn George is a free agent for $3.5 million, so his team let him go in free agency. For some reason, that's been a glitch where the players drafted in, what year was he drafted? In the 2024 draft are let go in free agency, or in the 2023 draft. I've seen that happening a lot. We may just go sign Keyshawn George. He only wants $3.5 million because that's what his rookie contract was worth. But first, we're going to sign Dyson Daniels, and then we'll go talk to Keyshawn George. We're going to offer Dyson Daniels a 4-year contract, $28.5 million, which he should accept. And then we're also going to go talk to Keyshawn George and see if we can bring him on our team. He does have one offer. Let's see who that's from. That's from the Sacramento Kings, but hopefully he decides to come on our team since we're over here winning championships, which I'm pretty sure he'll want to do. And no, he wants to go to the Sacramento Kings, which means we're not going to be getting him on our team. That sucks. I really wanted Keyshawn George. I'm going to see if there's any other players that were let go by their teams that we could possibly sign for real cheap, but we do end up re-signing Dyson Daniels, which is huge. So as I said earlier, all of our players are basically already on contracts, but I am planning on upgrading our backup power forward position. PJ Washington was pretty bad in the regular season. The same for Caleb Martin, so I'm going to see if we can upgrade the backup power forward position. I'm pretty sure we should be able to, especially since we have PJ Washington and Caleb Martin who we can use in a trade. I am going to be trying to get Dorian Finney-Smith on our team. He's a good 3-point shooter, amazing defender. He could be our backup power forward for this season, so let's go ahead and give him a minimum 1-year deal, which he should be accepting, and he does. I'm not sure how much Dorian Finney-Smith regresses. I'm pretty sure he doesn't regress by that much, but I still am going to go out there and look for a different backup power forward. If we throw Caleb Martin and PJ Washington in Trade Finder, there should be some pretty good offers. Here's Derek Jones Jr. I'm going to look around and see what type of players we can bring on our team. We're going to be targeting Cameron Johnson from the Brooklyn Nets to be our new backup power forward. He's one of the best 3-point shooters in the league. Good 3-point shooter, good offensive player, and he's also a pretty good defender. Having him as our backup power forward would be amazing. This past season, we were a below average 3-point shooting team, so getting ourselves a good 3-point shooter like Cam Johnson off our bench will definitely help with that. Let's see what the Brooklyn Nets say for this trade, where we send them PJ Washington, Caleb Martin, and Muhammad. And hopefully they do trade, and they do accept the trade, which means we got ourselves Cam Johnson. Even though we have ourselves a backup point guard and Igor Demon, I'm still going to be signing Nickeil Alexander-Walker. The reason for that is, these past playoffs, Igor Demon started playing horrible once the playoffs started, so if that happens again, we'll have a backup player in Nickeil Alexander-Walker, who we could change his position from shooting guard to point guard. He's a decent playmaker, can score, can do it all. He's a good defender as well, so that's the reason we're going to be signing him, just in case something like that happens again. Player progression for our team is looking amazing. Evan Mobley's up to 94 overall, 93 from Trae Young, 89 from Dyson Daniels, 87 for Quentin Grimes. Lively's up, Zachary Risachet is up. He only went up by 1 in overall, which is kind of concerning. I hoped that he would go up by at least 2 or 3 in overall. Nick Claxton is up to 84, 84 from Cam Johnson, and Igor Demin went up by 6 in overall, which now makes him at 81 overall. We're definitely ready to go out there and win ourselves a back-to-back championship. For this final season, this is going to be our rotation. Our starting lineup is going to include Trae Young, Dyson Daniels, Zachary Risachet, Evan Mobley, and Derek Lively II. And then off the bench, we're going to have Quentin Grimes, Nick Claxton, Cam Johnson, and Igor Demin. Let's see how game number 1 goes against the Indiana Pacers. We do end up losing by 10 points. Game 2, we do end up winning by nearly 20 points. Trae Young played amazing, Grimes was good, and Mobley was good as well. Hopefully we can go out there and win ourselves another championship. I don't think we're going to be making any moves this trade deadline since we already have a pretty stacked team. But of course, if I decide to make some moves, I'll be stopping at the trade deadline to show you guys. We got ourselves Cameron Johnson this past off season for his 3-point shooting, and he's been shooting the ball pretty bad from the 3-point line. He's shooting 34% from deep. So we're going to be trading him away here for Aaron Gordon, who's shooting 40% from the 3-point line and has a 88 overall 3-point shot, which is higher than Cameron Johnson's. For this trade to happen, we also have to trade away Nickeil Alexander-Walker. I didn't want to trade him in case Igor Demin does not play good in the playoffs, but I guess it is what it is. And Aaron Gordon is also a better defender than Cameron Johnson is. He has an A perimeter defense and a B+ post defense, so getting him on our team will definitely help out with our 3-point shooting and our defense. I don't think we're going to be making any more moves this trade deadline. Other than the Cam Johnson trade, that was the only trade we really needed to make at this trade deadline. Other than that, the rest of our team has been playing amazing. And at the end of this last season, Evan Mobley wins MVP, averaging 25 points per game, 10 rebounds, 5 assists, and 3 stocks, shooting on amazing efficiency. I did not even know that Evan Mobley was in the race to winning MVP, so this is a bonus to end off the video. We were able to win Evan Mobley a MVP. Now hopefully we can win ourselves the 2nd championship for this video as well before it ends. AJ DeBonsa wins Rookie of the Year, Derek Queen 6th player, Wemby Defensive Player, VJ Edgecombe Most Improved. Curry wins Clutch Player of the Year at age 39. And our head coach Quinn Snyder wins Coach of the Year. We also win Executive of the Year, winning 65 games, losing 17. And of course, the MVP, Evan Mobley, is on All-NBA First Team. That's amazing to see that he was able to win an MVP. Trae Young on All-NBA Second Team. And that's it for All-NBA selections. We also get Dyson Daniels on All-Defensive First Team. And we do get Evan Mobley on All-Defensive Second Team. And this time around, we were the number 1 seed with 65 wins and 17 losses. Let me show you guys our player stats before we jump into the playoffs. So our leading scorer was Evan Mobley this time. I thought it was Trae Young, but I was wrong, and it was Evan Mobley leading the way in scoring with 25 points per game, 10 rebounds, 5 assists, 3 stocks on amazing efficiency. Then we had Trae Young averaging 23.5 points per game, 12 assists. That is insane. A career high in assists for Trae Young, and only turning over the ball 1.9 times, so less than 2 turnovers per game, shooting 50, 40, 80. Then we had Dyson Daniels averaging 15 points per game, 5 boards, 6 assists, 2.5 steals, and 1 block. Zachary Risachet decided to pick it up this season compared to the last 2 seasons. His efficiency was a lot better, shooting 40% from the 3-point line, 49 from the field, averaging 14 a night, 13 points per game from Derek Lively, 13 from Aaron Gordon. Amazing get for our team. Off the bench, he nearly shot 40% from the 3-point line. Quentin Grimes was amazing as well, 12 points per game, shooting 41% from the 3-point line, 48 from the field. Now it's time to get into the playoffs, and in round 1, we're going to be taking on the Charlotte Hornets, who actually have a really good starting five. I'm really surprised that they were the 10 seed. They have LaMelo Ball, Ace Bailey, Brendan Miller, Miles Bridges, and Mark Williams. So this starting five is actually really good. I don't know how they ended up being a play-in team, but they did. Now let me fix up our player minutes before we start simulating. Alright, I fixed up the player minutes. Let's see what happens here in round 1 against the Charlotte Hornets. Game 1 is a win for us. Mobley drops 33 points, Trae Young with a double-double. Game 2 is also a win for us. Mobley with a 30-point double-double. Dyson Daniels had 29 points, Trae Young with 25. Game 3 is also a win for us. This time Zachary Risacher led the way with 27 points, Dyson Daniels had 25. 22 from Trae Young. Evan Mobley did kind of struggle offensively. Not really, actually. He shot the ball pretty well, but he didn't shoot as many shots. But he still had a really good game. And are we going to sweep the Hornets? And yes, we do. Trae Young puts up 36 points, 13 assists, Mobley with 29, Daniels with 20. And he's averaging 22 points per game so far in the playoffs, shooting 60% from the three-point line. Aaron Gordon off the bench is playing amazing for us. In 22 minutes per game, he's averaging 12 points. And just like that, we sweep the Hornets to advance to round 2, where we're going to be taking on the Detroit Pistons. And they do have Cade Cunningham, Marcus Smart, Thompson. They got themselves Bam Adebayo, Mitchell Robinson, Beasley. They got themselves Chris Middleton, Ron Holland, Isaiah Stewart. I think we're the better team. They are kind of lacking in the shooting guard position, but Marcus Smart is still a really good defender, the former defensive player of the year, so we can't take him lightly as well. Game number 1 is a loss for us. Okay, so Cade Cunningham drops 40 points, and I totally forgot we're going to change up our defensive coach game plan. We need Dyson Daniels guarding Cade Cunningham. We're not going to make the same mistake as last year. Alright, Evan Mobley is going to be guarding Bam Adebayo, and then Dyson Daniels will be guarding Cade Cunningham, who's nearly averaging 40 points per game. But Dyson Daniels should be able to slow him down. Game number 2 is a win for us, and we kind of did slow him down, but he still had 28 points on good efficiency. Trae Young had 19 points, Daniels 19. Our team kind of struggled offensively, but luckily a lot of our players were in double-digit scoring, which got us that win. Game 3 is also a win for us. Cade Cunningham still had 48 points despite our best defender guarding him. Trae Young had a 22-point double-double, Mobley with a 21-point double-double. Game number 4 is a loss for us, and they tapped the series, and whoa, Cade Cunningham is a problem. Bro had 20 free throws. The refs are on Cade's side clearly. 51 points is insane. Trae Young had 40. I think I'm going to raise a shot tendency for Trae Young because of how good he's been playing, and that should make a difference for our offense. I raised a shot tendency on Trae Young and Evan Mobley. Let's see if that's going to help us here get this win. We do have home court advantage, and if we win this game, the momentum will be on our side. And it looks like we are going to be winning by 19 points. Evan Mobley drops 35, Gordon with 20 points in 20 minutes, Trae Young 18 points and 17 assists. Cade Cunningham was kind of slowed down by Dyson Daniels, which is nice to see. And hopefully we can defeat the Pistons here in Game 6 and not push it to a Game 7. We start off the game losing so far, but we are going to be winning by 16 points. Trae Young drops 35 points, 13 assists. Evan Mobley drops 22 points and 13 rebounds. Let's go. And just like that, we're in the conference finals. We're going to be facing up against the Toronto Raptors. And the Raptors don't really look all that special, but the Toronto Raptors in 2K simulation are always good for some reason. Their starting lineup is quickly Grady, Liam McNeely, Scotty Barnes, Orlando Robinson, and they still have Brendan Ingram and RJ Barrett coming off their bench, Jacoby Walter, Salty Aldama, and Luke Dort. So this is still a pretty stacked team, even though they don't really have a number. Okay, never mind, they made Scotty Barnes the number 1 option, averaging 22 a night. But I still think we're the better team. Let's see what happens. Game 1 is a win for us. Mobley drops 36 and 12. Trae Young with a double-double. Game 2 is a loss for us. Mobley played good, but we still fell short to Scotty Barnes, Brendan Ingram. Game 3 is a win for us. Let's go. Trae Young drops 24 and 13. They are running like a 12-man rotation, I believe. 11-man rotate or 10. I don't know if that's a 10 or 11-man rotation, but they're running a pretty deep rotation, as you guys can see, because they have a lot of players that are 80 overall or higher. So hopefully we can defeat this team. We are up 3-1. Mobley drops 42 points and 12 boards. Trae Young with another double-double. And we gentlemen sweep the Raptors. Mobley led the way and then followed by Trae Young. Now we're either going to be facing up against the Golden State Warriors, who are in the conference finals, or the Minnesota Timberwolves. And it's going to be the Timberwolves. Edwards wins Western Conference Finals MVP. Evan Mobley, Eastern Conference Finals MVP. The Golden State Warriors making it to the conference finals with this team is pretty impressive. The only good player really on this team left is Steph Curry, who's a high overall, or at least a 90 overall or higher. But now we're going up against the Minnesota Timberwolves, who have Rob Dillingham, Anthony Edwards, McDaniels, Ozzy Noel, Jalen Williams. This is a pretty good team. I think we're better. Let's see what happens. Game number 1 is a loss for us. Okay, so Edwards drops 32 points. Rob Dillingham is going off, averaging 21 points per game. Game 2 is a win for us. Mobley drops 32 and 10. Trae Young drops 16 and 13. Game 3 is also a win for us. Let's go. Mobley with another 30-piece game. 18 from Lively, 17 from Trae Young. Trae Young has been struggling offensively these last few games, I've noticed. Game 4, we're up 3-1 just like that, and there's a Trae Young that we all love, putting up 48 points, 32 from Mobley, 15 from Gordon, and 12 from Lively. And are we going to gentleman sweep the Timberwolves? We're not going to gentleman sweep them. Mobley had 27, 20 from Ricochet, but Anthony Edwards puts up 50 points on us. Game 6, we do end up winning a back-to-back NBA championship. This time around, Evan Mobley wins Finals MVP, averaging 25, 10, and 5, as well as 5 stocks. That's insane. He was averaging 2.5 steals per game and 2.5 blocks per game. Let me show you guys the player stats before we end off this video. The leading scorer for our team in the playoffs was Evan Mobley, averaging 26 points per game, 10 boards, 4.5 assists, 2 steals, and 2.5 blocks, shooting almost 40% from the three-point line. That is impressive. Trae Young was averaging 25 points per game, 11 boards, 1 steal, also on really good efficiency, almost 40% from deep, 14 points per game from Dyson Daniels, 6.5 assists, 5 boards, and 2.5 steals, half a block per game. And he was also shooting the ball pretty well. 13 a night from Quentin Grimes, shooting 50, 40, 70, amazing 6-man to have on our team. 12.5 from Lively, 12 from Aaron Gordon, another amazing bench player to have on our team, shooting 44% from deep. I love that we got Aaron Gordon. I believe he helped us a ton. 11.5 from Zachary Ricochet, who played a lot better than last year. Last season in the playoffs, he was playing horrible, but this time he was shooting 50 from the field, 47 from the three-point line. Now let's see the NBA Finals stats. So Evan Mobley led the way once again, 25-point double-double. Trae Young with a 24-point double-double, 14 from Ricochet, 14 from Lively, 13 from Grimes, 12 from Gordon, 11.5 from Dyson Daniels. We had a bunch of players in double-digit scoring. 6-7 players to be exact. That's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed this rebuild. We were able to win Trae Young and the Atlanta Hawks, as well as Evan Mobley, 2 championships back to back. If you guys enjoyed, please make sure to drop a thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, and comment down below what video you guys would like to see next. Until next time, it's your boy Dragon, and I'm out. Peace.